Hi there, and welcome to Real Life in Real Estate. I'm Mark Peebles, here to help you live your best life and achieve ultimate success. And I'm loving the fact that we're starting to do interviews on the show. This is so much fun to me. And today, another very special guest. And this is someone that I'm going to let her talk a lot about her career, but I would consider Vicky Piper to be one of my best friends in the business. We've not only been good friends throughout our careers, we've had our offices next to each other, but Vicky is someone who has spoken into my life at critical times. She probably doesn't even know that, but we're sitting in the studio because of her, really. And she speaks her mind all the time. I love that about her, but she has so much wisdom, and I think you're going to learn so much. This is probably an episode where you need your notebook. So you're going to learn a lot today, I promise. So no pressure, Vicky, but
no pressure at all.
Welcome to Real Life in Real Estate.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
I really do, and I'll probably say this over and over again, I do appreciate you, and I really appreciate your friendship. We've had a lot of hard conversations over the years, I think, but I'm going to just intro with this moment that you had just come to my company because Vicky is with my company, and we were at a storage facility, and I was getting you some signs. Yeah, you remember that conversation? And
I remember being there.
We were putting them in the back of your convertible,
Yes.
and I said, Vicky, I don't know what to do. I'm looking at buying this office. It's this much money. And you said, Mark, you need to do it. Where else are you ever going to get a price like that?
Right.
On an office building in Springboro, Ohio. And I was like, okay, Vicky, I'm going to do it. And so here we sit in the very office that we were talking about.
That is true.
And I have a ton of equity today because of making that decision. So, but thank you for that. You've
You're
also
welcome.
spoken into my life in so many other ways. And I've just learned so much about you. And I want to just talk about your career. So give everyone out there an introduction, like how long have you been in the business and what's been your path in the business?
Sure. I got my license in 2004. So before that, I was working in ministry in a church. And so after 20 years being in ministry, I was wanting and needing and got interested in real estate and then made that transition. And I absolutely fell in love with this industry. And I think that for me, serving in a church and then serving in real estate was just a natural, beautiful transition that happened naturally. It wasn't something like, I didn't look out to start a career in real estate. It kind of presented itself and I just walked through it. And then here I am today.
How did it present itself? Like, who got you into it?
I started to get interested in investments.
Okay.
That's what we started, and we had a real estate agent, and I was looking at properties, and I just got addicted. Like so many people out there, they start and they can't stop looking. Even after, it's interesting, even after you sell a house, people are just like, I'm still looking. I'm like, you should stop at this point. Like, you need to stop. But yeah, so I just fell in love with like looking at houses. I loved interior design. I loved all of that. And so it just became a passion.
Yeah.
Just over time, it evolved. And then it truly came to a point where could I do both real estate as well as ministry? And I couldn't. So I decided at that time to let go of ministry and then just go into a volunteer position.
Yep.
And that's where, and then just full time in real estate. And I love it.
But I'm sure from your time in ministry, you made great connections.
So many.
Yeah.
So many. And it was really great because my first church that I worked there for 13 years. So I have beautiful friendships from that place. And then the next place I was there for close to 7 to 8 years.
Yep.
So and it was really, it was a beautiful, and it was all in the same area. So it's really kind of neat because today you go to places, grocery stores, Hobby Lobby, whatever it may be, and you see people all the time, everywhere you go.
Right. It helped you build that initial sphere of influence, but then it's also those connections. And I've always said, and this is one of the things that a lot of people, especially if they feel called to ministry, there's a lot of people who feel called to ministry that think ministry happens in a church. But I believe what we do in real estate is very much a ministry. We have an opportunity to speak into people's lives and have impact every single day. And so the work that we do is very much ministry, I believe.
100%. Because you got to realize this. Ministry in a church is great. They all come to one place, and you worship together, you serve together, you volunteer together. But we're like, when you go into real estate, I just feel like I naturally went into people's home, you sat at their kitchen table, and then you are part of this major transition.
Yep.
And then you become kind of this guidance, this counselor, and they start to tell you things that they're going through, the reason why they're moving. Maybe it's a devastating reason, maybe it's a joyful reason. But then there's also this element when you're a believer that I want to make sure that whatever home we find together, I wanted to make sure that you know about an eternal home as well.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That is the part of the whole journey that's why I've always said it's never, ever been about money for me. It's always been about people and serving and just expanding the kingdom.
Yeah, and I've heard you say it before. In fact, I have notes. One of the things that I'm referencing today is notes that I took when Vicky shared on an agent panel at one point, and she says, be yourself.
100%.
Be yourself. And faith is very much a part of who you are.
It is. It 100% is. I think that's really great when you see other, let's start with the clients. When you meet people, customers that turn into clients, you meet them, you talk to them, it will naturally ooze out of you.
Right.
And then when they won't necessarily say that they are a believer, then once they see that you are, they're like, oh, there's this instant connection. But even if they're not, there is this respect that they have that I absolutely love because it's mutually given both sides. But also when it comes to agents, I have found that when agents kind of cross the line, if they start negotiating in a way that's really just unhealthy, I should just put it that way, that they seem to apologize.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to go down that route. Or,
Right.
Vicky, I'm so sorry for, this or this. And I'm like, it's okay. It's all good. But there is this aspect that I don't hide my faith, and I encourage those that are believers, they shouldn't.
Yeah, right. Well, it's very much a part of who we are.
Exactly.
I mean, if you're a person of faith, you're not just a person of faith on Sundays.
Right.
Right? It's every day of the week. And for me, I work with a lot of clients, I'm sure you have over the years too, that are Hindu, that are Muslim, that are of other faiths. And what I've always found is I always come from a place of curiosity. Like, I'm always going to be very open with you about my faith, but I also want to understand what you believe and why you believe what you believe. And I've made some amazing connections over the years with people that don't share my faith because I got to that place of curiosity. And then there's this mutual respect that happens.
It's respect and love.
Yep.
I respect you, and I will love you.
Yep.
And that's you are a person, and that's what it all comes down to. We need to respect others as well as other agents and those that are around us. And I think that is just, it makes things so much more pleasant, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. And even with agents that we work with, you talk about agents going down the wrong path. Life is so much better when, as agents, we all
get along,
right?
Because, we're working together for a common goal. I want to sell a house. You represent a buyer, and we want this transaction to go. There is no need to fight.
Yep.
Let's cooperate and just find a resolution. There's
totally
problems,
agree.
But there's dilemmas. Problems kind of sound like really big, like it's unsolvable. If there's just dilemmas throughout real estate, and if we just focus like a dilemma, it's just a dilemma. We can solve this. Let's work together.
Absolutely. And I think that that's what makes good agents great agents is when we realize, this is funny that I'm going to go here because when we go on listing appointments, we will fight each other like mad to get that listing and then turn around and sell the listing and work together on the other side of things. And the funny thing is, like, Vicky and I were Dave Ramsey endorsed local providers. I'm not anymore, but it's primarily because too many of my agents are Dave Ramsey endorsed local providers. But Vicky's like one of the best ever. And so we competed with each other on almost every single listing.
We competed all the time, and it was really funny because I never saw that because I'm thinking to the seller or buyer, like if you choose Mark, it's a win.
Yep.
It's an absolute win. You will be absolutely, so there was nothing to be, and I've always come to the conclusion that early on, there's no reason to speak negative about another agent.
Right. There's
ever.
never. Right.
And you will never win at all when you do that, or about a lender or about a title company. If you can stay positive through and keep those things that maybe that were offended by you or you're bothersome, whatever, that's a private thing. You just never vocalize it.
Well, and the thing is too, is it doesn't look good.
It doesn't.
Clients are turned off by that.
They
Buyers
are.
and sellers are turned off by that. Other agents are turned off by that.
Do you know what I started even doing is when you get like show a house and you get feedback, like we give us feedback, and I will like 99% of the time write, your house was great. The buyer, whatever reasons why they didn't necessarily pick that house, but I want to let you know that you have selected a great agent.
Oh,
and
that's good.
I just want to tell you, your house will be sold. Do not be discouraged by this.
That's good.
And I put that out. 50% of the time, those agents were like, Vicky, how nice are you?
Yeah,
and I'm
that's
like,
great.
But it's because we all are working together. And I think, one day we're going to do a deal together.
Yeah.
So I want it to be a common thing that,
Yeah, so start taking notes, because I think that's valuable to build up other agents in the business. Whether they're with your company or not, let's build each other up.
100%.
I always, last year especially, when as an industry we went through so much with, the changes in buyer agency and the how scared most of the industry was. I said, listen, now more than ever is the time we need to stick together and encourage each other and help each other.
Absolutely.
And if an agent submits something to you wrong, go back and say, hey, did you mean to do it this way? Let me help you with this. Let's make sure we get this right, in the spirit of goodwill towards one another and helping each other. So I love that. Okay, so here's where I want to talk about investments, because you said investments drew you into the business.
They did.
And I want you to talk to me, because you do have investments. You've made a lot of good real estate decisions. That's one of the things I always tell my clients. I'm here to help you make good real estate decisions. But you've made good real estate decisions in your career. Talk to me about how you got into personally investing in real estate, and what was the initial mindset there?
So it all began with our children, because we realized that when you have a child, you put this money aside and put it into a bank account, and then people will tell you by the time they're 18, this will pay for their college. And so I remember putting a significant amount of money from gifts from families and friends into an account for our two kids. And then it was probably second grade or third grade. I happened to look into that account, and I was like, this is not
going to pay for college.
This is not going to pay for their books.
Yeah.
Like, I can't imagine what's going to happen. So at that time, my husband and I sat down, and we just said, I have an idea. What do you think of this? And so we decided at that time to buy one property, and then our plan is you buy the property, the investment, and then hopefully within 5 to 7 years that return is paid completely full.
Yeah.
So that by that time they would graduate. I just wanted to have a house completely paid for, and then that rent from that particular home then would go to them in college.
Yep.
So whatever their house brought to them, that's what helped. But that was all. So we bought a house for our daughter, then we bought a house for our son. They both graduated. They both had a house that was completely paid for at that point. Again, this is all in our name still. And then whatever money, so if they got $1,500, that's what they got for each month, $1,500 to go. And then they both graduated, and with no debt.
Yeah, I think that's phenomenal. In fact, what you're hearing Vicky talk about here, and I think is so important for other agents to hear, is not just thinking about doing this for themselves, but this is something you should be advising clients. I'm working with a couple right now, pregnant with their first baby. This is exactly what I told them. I said, this first house you're going to buy, it's not your dream home, right?
Right.
Eventually you're going to get to your dream home, but our goal is to make a good first investment that you can potentially keep when it's time to move into your next home and have paid off by the time your son is grown. And now you have something that you can use to either you can sell it and pay for college and take a little bit of a tax hit, or you've got monthly income coming in that can go towards expenses. And so I love it. I think that's a brilliant strategy, and we need to be educating our clients more on how they can build wealth in real estate in that way.
One thing to note, every billionaire out there, they have investments in real estate.
Yep.
Just think about that as the
Except for Elon Musk. I think he sold all of it.
Except for
but
Elon,
otherwise, go ahead. Yeah.
Exactly. But literally almost every single one of them have investments in real estate. And there is this aspect in the future. This is the one part that I've listened to so many financial lectures and guidance, and they continue to say with the future of AI, we have to consider assets. And real estate is the one thing that you can continually expect because renters, there's always renters.
Yep.
There's always renters. And people are always scared. Like, I don't want to be a landlord. It is not hard. If you do it right,
Yep.
it's not hard at all.
So do you still own properties?
We do.
How many properties do you own? Approximately.
We own 4
Okay.
right now.
Passive income?
Yep. Everything's paid for.
That's great.
We have not one debt, no debt, cars, houses, nothing.
Yeah. So, yeah, and you've been a big Dave Ramsey fan for many years,
yes,
right?
I have
so
been.
when did you guys get in? Because one of the things that you've said, other notes I've taken from hearing you talk, is
Okay.
live on a budget, right?
Live on a
and,
budget.
And I know that's a big part of who you are,
Yes.
and you are a big, Dave Ramsey, what is it, Ramsey Trusted.
Yes.
So talk to me about the importance of that budget for you and how you've been able to be debt-free as an agent.
So one of the things that my husband and I did right from the very beginning is that we established a budget off of his income, and we never lived off of mine. The entire time that we've been married, 32 years, we've always lived off of his income. So my income has always been set aside for investments or retirement or vacations, kids' lessons, extras.
Yep.
So if I wasn't making any money, then everything was covered. So we always lived in a nice budget. We did not go out to eat a lot. I mean, we just didn't. I love to cook. And so we just lived within our means. And back in the day, people would make fun of us all the time because I was going to Aldi when Aldi, had the bad name and
Now
nobody was
everyone
going.
loves
and
Aldi.
now it's like, and I've told everybody
Yeah,
for how
right.
many years, like, this is the best place, and I've been going there for over 30 years, and
Yeah.
they were great. But we've just always lived on a budget, and that's the one thing we budget our vacations. And then as money we began to save and save more, we never changed
Yeah.
our lifestyle. We never changed an aspect of getting a more expensive car or getting a more expensive house. We've never changed in that aspect. We've always just stayed within our budget.
Yeah, and you've gotten to the place now where you take longer trips, right?
Yes.
So you'll spend 2 or 3 weeks away from your business,
Yes.
and you also take some time off in the winter as well.
We do.
And I have to guess that the way that you've budgeted over the years allows you to live like that.
You got to, this is the whole part of life, is you work hard to enjoy it, in a season.
Yep.
One of the things that I realized, and my husband, and we really held this close to our heart as a family, is that money does not bring happiness. That it was one of those parts that being together, it was more important than anything. So if you talk to our kids who have been to Australia, Hawaii, and some beautiful places, some of their best vacations was when we went camping.
Yeah.
And so that's what we really focused on, is time together. And that is like priceless.
Right.
So I feel that in many ways, people try to buy their children too many things, or they try to, elaborate vacations. It's not, it's great, but it all comes down to time with them.
Yeah, it's making memories.
Making memories.
Right?
And so we did that throughout their whole childhood. And now we're at a point where we're empty nesters and it's just us. And so we saved all this money to enjoy it.
Yep, right.
So now we're at a point where my husband's going to be able to retire early. He's 57. He just
Wow.
put his intent to proceed to retire next year. And so we did all of this because we are strong believers that God only gives you so much time.
Right.
And we were shopping for campers, and we were looking at why is this camper only have 2,000 miles on it? Makes no sense. And they're like, oh, well, they retired at 65 and he got sick. And then they
yep.
wanted to travel and see the world. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. So if you
Yep.
have the option of retiring at 57, 60 or 65 or 70, I think we are of the philosophy, we want to enjoy our life. We want to enjoy our children, our grandchildren. We want to be present with them.
Yep.
And so I'll always dabble, but there will be a point where I will exit and then somebody else will come in. And I want to enjoy this time on this earth. It's
Yep.
short. It's
It
very
is.
short. And anybody that has money and they die early, they will say their biggest regret is they didn't spend the time with their family.
Right.
And I don't have that regret.
Your kids are never going to look back and say, I'm so glad Dad worked those extra hours.
I
or,
know.
So glad Dad made that much money,
I
right?
know.
They just want you.
They do. And that was the priority. And that's why I think in that one talk that I shared was that when you're in this business, you're going to be given so many opportunities to do stuff and to go places. And I said no to a majority of them. I seldom went to networking events. I seldom went to any CE classes that were where my husband was home. I would say no to them because I wanted to be home with my family.
Right.
I would always choose to be with my children and my husband versus at a networking event. I wouldn't, no way.
So tell me how do you balance that? Because real estate's so demanding.
It is.
And you've been a top agent for many, many years. How do you balance that? And how do you prioritize? Because what happens when that one client calls that has to get in right now? How have you handled that and balanced that in your life and business over the years?
That sometimes I say yes and sometimes I say no. So sometimes it just does not align. And for example, this past May when I was in Montana, I got a call from somebody that said, we want you to come list our property. It was like a $1.2 million property. And I said, I'm going to be up front. I am not going to be home because he wanted me to come the next day. And I said, I am in Montana. I'm on vacation. But he goes, I need somebody here tomorrow. And I'm like, I'm not your girl.
Yeah.
And I was at peace with it. I'm like,
right.
I'm living my best life in Montana right now.
Right.
And that to me, it wasn't a loss. It was just, that one wasn't for me. To find out that when I got back from Montana, in 2 weeks later, I got a call from him and he said to me, do you remember me? I'm like, I do. I said, did you sell your house? He's like, no, I went through 2 other interviews and something just kept on saying, I need to wait for you.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Hey, it always works out.
It does.
When you prioritize the most important things, it'll always work out. But of course, being in Montana, it's not like you're going to show up tomorrow anyway.
Right. I wasn't going to show up tomorrow anyway. Exactly. So there's sometimes you say yes and sometimes you say no. But know that you're only able to do so much.
Right.
So you're not going to be able to say yes to everything. And those agents that do say yes to everything, something is sacrificing. Their husband, their children, their volunteer time, whatever it may be, you cannot do it all.
Yeah.
So that's the part of the whole equation is that you have to be able to balance and say yes, to say no, and prioritize that. Like, I am going to sit down with my family with no interruptions.
Right.
And then there is also this aspect of being respectful to your family. So if I'm having, time with my family and I get a call, I will turn to my husband, do you mind if I take this? Because he has a voice in that, like, yeah, or no, not like, this is not the best time.
Right.
I'm like, okay, then I won't take it at that point.
So I think this is really important because next I want to get into your goal setting and how you run your business because you run an impressive business. But I think a good transition here into that is that you're an incredibly driven person. Like one of the most well-organized businesses that I've observed from an outsider perspective. You are so organized. You run your team like a well-oiled machine.
Thank you.
You're so driven and you're very goal-oriented, but yet you always made the time to prioritize family first. I love that.
Oh.
I mean, that's
huge.
It just goes to show you can be a 20 million plus producer, which that's, you're producing at a 20 million plus level, right? And still your family knows that you're present with them. I love it. That's incredible.
There's no amount of money that I'm willing to sacrifice. Because those are the people that matter the most. So the part of the driven part, I think that has to go with I have a work ethic.
Yep.
That's pretty much off the chain. I was a child that was, how can I put this? That my father was, on Saturday morning, let's get up, let's clean the garage, those kind of things. Like I didn't watch cartoons. I didn't do like a lot of things that a lot of kids did. But my father had a strong work ethic and taught us that you get up and you work. Yep. And so I really enjoyed work. And that's the part of that sometimes as a tendency, I can become a workaholic. And so I have to balance that and pull back like, no, I can't because I enjoy it. Yeah. That's the part I love what I do.
Right.
This is not work to me, but anything that pulls you away from your family and your priorities, then that is not necessarily balanced.
Yep.
So as far as being driven, I don't have anything in my life other than myself. I'm in competition with myself.
Right.
Like, I love to see you when you have closings and you like are hitting huge. I mean, I love it. I encourage, other agents, and I applaud them when they do it. For myself, it's just, I know, like, I could do better.
Right.
I could do better. And sometimes I would even walk away from listing presentations and like, I could have done this better. I could have I'm constantly challenging myself
Right.
and how to improve this thing called real estate.
Yep.
And so I love to learn from others, but I think sometimes the best is just being able to self-analyze yourself.
Right.
And realize that was not good at all.
Right.
Because sometimes, if you've probably experienced when you've done this so many times, you walk out of listing presentations, and I'm like, I got that so well. And then they call me like, we've selected another realtor. I'm like, what? I thought we were going to go to dinner
and
together.
most of the time it was me. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. It wasn't.
But it was like, oh, gosh, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And then other times I think I blow it. And
Yep.
then they're like, Vicky, we love you. And
Yeah.
I'm like, you try to wrap your brain around this
Right.
industry, and it always shocks you. And I think that you just got to be honest and realize where you are weak, you need to get stronger.
Right.
And the areas that you are weak, you need to either fix it or hire people to help you with it.
Right.
And because if you just try to do it yourself, you're not going to improve.
Yep, absolutely. And you've built a team.
I have.
So what's the structure of your team?
I have one buyer's agent right now. It's just the two of us. And then we have currently a transaction coordinator, and she does a phenomenal job. It was great because she started off with just able to process 4 or 6, and now we've got her up to, I think we had 15 pending this past. And so she was with not a problem whatsoever.
Good.
And then we also have a social manager that she does a great job, and we're getting ready to hire a third one.
Yeah, which I encourage you, check out Vicky Piper's social media. She does an excellent job. I saw your video this morning on how often people leave stuff in their dryers, right?
Yes, they do.
I mean, it's good education, right? And it's just, I talk all the time. In fact,
Right.
we're recording a course called Ultimate Success Framework, 100 Days to 100K. So we, in this course, are talking about the importance of social media. It's one of the ways that you get in front of people. Yeah. And video is the way, and you do that so well. So if you want someone to emulate, definitely check out Vicky's social media.
You're so kind. It's a stretch. I think for all of us who are over 45, it's a stretch for us.
Right.
I'm just going to be honest with you, myself being 55. But it's a stretch for us to do it. But I just trust my social,
Yep. And she does do a very good job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really appreciate Hannah and Feather, and it's a great team.
Okay, now, you didn't mention, though, that your buyer's agent happens to be
my son.
Your son.
Yes.
So how is that family dynamic, bringing your son into the business? I know you're a little bit resistant to it at first, right?
Very.
So
I said, no way. When he says, I want to become a realtor, I'm like, no way. No, go do something else, anything else.
Go get a real job.
Go get a real job, but don't become a realtor. But he's just like, no, I really would like to become a realtor. He went on to college and graduated from college, and I said, oh my gosh, Cameron, I just don't think this is the best choice for you. And he was really just absolutely 100% like, I want to do this. So I said to him, then write a paper on 5 pages on why you want to become a realtor. And then he wrote a paper, and I read it, and it was pretty phenomenal.
Yeah.
But it talked about watching our lives and how we were ones that, I was present with him, was be able to balance it all in that aspect, but also that he really, I did not know this until that paper came out, but he says, your success in real estate has allowed you not only to give when you go and volunteer, but you give financially.
Yeah.
And I want to be able to do that as well. And
Right.
so we support, in several different avenues and areas. And so that really tugged at my mama's heart.
Yeah, it did.
So I was like, okay.
And not only is
Yes.
he a great kid in general, both of your kids are great kids.
Yes, thank you.
But he is a very good agent. And he's definitely been well trained.
He has been. And one of the things I've learned from one of the top agents within the Dayton, Herman Castro, I called him because there is some great things that Cameron demonstrated right from the very beginning. But there was also some big things that was driving me crazy because there's a big generational thing going on here. And when we started in real estate, we did everything. Did our own transaction management. We did our socials. We did our financials. We did our budget. We did everything. So I just thought it was very important for him to learn all of that. And so when I started expecting all these aspects and he's just like overwhelmed by it, I'm thinking, okay, you're not going to make it in this industry. So we had a few little, intense moments, to put it lightly. The exchange of words is the best way to say it. But I think what it came down to, I got some great advice from Herman. He says, this is the catch. You're trying to teach them how you taught and how you learned real estate. Today, it's 2025.
Yep.
They learn it completely, and they don't need to know everything in that aspect anymore because they have all of these tools. They have all of these things. And let him shine in the very things, because the things that Cameron has, you can't teach.
Right.
He has the charisma. He has the connection. He feels for. He goes above and beyond. I saw him this past month do things that I'm like, oh my gosh. Because when I came back from my trip, we was getting ready to list a property. And I said to Cameron, oh my gosh, there's 2 bushes in the front, Cameron. Those need to come out. And before you know it, he's got a truck. He's got a trailer.
Yep.
He's getting them out. He's like, I will do whatever it takes. And I'm like, I love that.
Yeah.
He's very determined, very hardworking, and I could not be prouder. But of course, whenever you develop a team with anybody, but especially
your
a family
own kids,
member,
yep.
yes, it's going to be tense in the beginning. But if you get through it, it's awesome on the other side.
And I can say that too, I worked that same scenario where I was a kid coming into my dad's team, right? My dad, a top performer for many years, and we had to work through that too. And then there came a point that you'll get to where it's time to hand over the reins and let him be the lead and take that business. But I want to move to goals because you're very goal-oriented. I mentioned that earlier. Talk to me about how you go through goal setting, but how are you hitting your goals?
One of the things that I do, as well as Cameron, we set a goal for us at the beginning of the year. We measure that goal in June, and then we measure that again in October to see if we're going to meet December and end of fourth quarter goals. And what we do is that we set it with the intention, and this is, I can tell you from my side, from being the team lead. He can tell you what he does. But for me on a team lead side, what I do, I set it then to turn around and then bless the support staff.
Yep. Okay.
That is the biggest part for me, is because if I make a goal, it was because of them that I was able to reach it, then I turn around and give them the bonus to be able that we did it.
Yeah.
And so every single year we try to reach a certain goal, and sometimes this is the hard part. If we did not reach the goal, then it is what it is. You know what I mean? Especially if the closing happened, like the 3 extra closings that happened in January 2nd or 3rd or 4th.
Right. It's
like, no, it didn't happen. So we didn't reach our goal. I don't have any flexibility. I stay true to our goal that we have set.
Okay.
So
laser beam focused. And then
laser focused.
And then one of the things that I think helps you achieve your goals, though, is your systems.
Huge.
So
huge.
You're so good at it. I think as I look at just people, and I know myself so well, my mind does not think systematically. I'm not a great person on implementing systems, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so how have you developed your systems, and what's important? Is someone sitting down saying, I want to systematize my business, what's important for them to know?
That is probably the one thing. When I first got my license, I remember, in 2004, going to the office. I didn't have a client, but I knew I wanted them. So I had to create okay, if I were to have a client and they were to go under contract, would I have a system? Would I know what transaction management even looked like at that point? I didn't. So then I went and asked 4 different agents, can I have your transaction checklist? And so I grabbed 4 or 5 of them and then developed my own. And it was so funny because then the manager at that time saw mine and said, "Oh my gosh, can we have a copy of it?" And then sent it to everybody within the company. And it was
Yep.
just like, that's not even interesting because I've never had a transaction at that point.
Yeah,
but
right.
I had a great form that I created,
right.
you know? So it was interesting to me that that was something but that's how my brain kind of works. So every aspect, I just look at things from start to finish. And
Yep.
I am naturally built in a project management mode that if there is a weak link or something we're noticing that's not being communicated, then I naturally go into let's repair that. So we analyze every aspect of the real estate transaction. And then from our referrals, we measure our contractors, how well they succeed. We measure every aspect of it. And so that's what we do. And then we just look at...
Wait, so contractors,
Yes.
you send out a contractor or you make a contractor referral, you're following up on that?
I'm following up with my client. Did they call you? And did they follow up? And did they go to the appointment that you guys scheduled? Like,
Yep.
I'm following up with every single one because how I look at it, if our contractor did not show up or they showed up late and honestly, I even did not show up in proper attire, right? Then we give 2 graces and then they're gone.
Yeah. Because it reflects on you.
It's a complete reflection on me.
Right.
So that's why we really analyze every aspect because we just one of the biggest things that we're realizing right now is moving companies. I know this sounds crazy, but
Yep.
so many people are like, can you give us a recommendation for a moving company? And I'm like, I can't. Right now, I cannot because everyone that I have, if you give them and something breaks, then that's like, Vicky, this broke. My father's grandfather clock broke. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. But it's just really, really, some industries are harder to recommend than others.
Right.
But overall,
But what a great opportunity, and I think write this down, because what a great opportunity. A lot of times, I love that you track down to contractors, because a lot of times we send the contractor referral, and then we miss the customer service opportunity, the connection opportunity, the relationship building opportunity afterwards to make that follow-up call and say, hey, how did it go? Or I want to come by and see how the kitchen turned out, right? And if they had a bad experience,
right.
holding contractors accountable. Like I've said for years, you want to use my contractors. Don't go find someone on Angie's List. No offense, Angie's List. You're definitely not a sponsor of the show. But,
Right.
but like, use my contractors because they are accountable to me as well as to you, and I can light fires if need be, right?
100%.
And so many agents are missing out on those opportunities. I love that you track that and follow up with it.
The other part to this, if you have a client appreciation like we do in the fall, all of our contractors sponsor that event. Like we have, we raise, each sponsor gives $500 toward the event. So we have about $6,000 toward this one-day big event. They're all there. So these sponsors, my electrician's there, my plumber's there, everyone is there. So my title guy's there. So the title guy's seeing hey, I did your closing, I did your closing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a really great time to connect. So when they have good experiences, it makes it just really wonderful.
I love it. Great opportunity. That's something definitely take notes on. But you mentioned it. Now we got to talk about it.
Yes.
Your client event.
Yes.
I hit client events all the time.
Yes.
What do you guys do for your client event?
We do, our big one is in the fall, our fall client appreciation fall pumpkin at my house is where it's at. And it's able to, we just have a really great fall festival. We have food trucks, we have pumpkins, we have a professional photographer that's taking photos with their families. We have a big fire pit, and then in that fire pit we have additional foods and drinks. It's just a really great time.
Yep.
That we all kind of come together.
Yep.
So people come every single year, and I love it.
And you're giving out pumpkins. How many pumpkins do you give away every year?
A lot.
A lot?
A lot. A lot of pumpkins.
How do you even get the pumpkins to your house?
They deliver them.
Okay,
They
yep.
deliver them, and then we have somebody who delivers all that. Yeah. And then the mums we get from the Amish farm. So we get those delivered to us as well. So it's really nice.
You obviously love the event.
I love
right?
the event.
And it's about the connection.
It is 100% about the connection and seeing everybody, because at that time people are showing by their phones what they did to the house. You get to see, when you were showing the house, she was pregnant, now they bring the baby, and then you're taking pictures with the baby. And it's just so much, because we are realtors, but we're so much part of their family.
We are.
So it's really, really wonderful when you they make you feel like, they're so excited about their milestones that are happening. And then when they're getting ready to sell, they give you a call. They know who you are. And that's the biggest part, to encourage like all realtors out there, whether you're just starting out, really work that sphere and make those connections with people. That is like the number one thing that we have done, that we have really set our business apart, is connecting and creating a VIP list of people that we know that love us and believe in us, that will give our name out to whomever that's looking to buy or sell. Those people, take care of them. Take care of them.
So if I want to have a VIP list, how many people should be on my VIP list?
You can start off with 3.
Okay.
3 people. Just start off with 3 people, build it up to 5, up to 10, whatever.
How many do you have today on your list approximately? You probably know exactly.
I do. That's crazy.
How many people on your list?
I have 55 people on my list, but these are 55 people that each one of them gave me a referral.
Okay, so those are your VIPs.
These are people that absolutely has said, gave him and so when they give me a referral, I want to thank them. So I give them a gift card, and then they come to our client appreciation as well. But I really treasure those relationships. So throughout the year, I also bless them, just to kind of like, thank you so much for, thinking of us on coffee day, chocolate chip day, whatever it may be. I just like thinking of you. I appreciate your loyalty and that you believe in the Piper Real Estate, team. So I take care of them all year long.
Then on top of your VIP list of 55 people, how many additional people do you market to through your systems?
We have, I believe, approximately 4,000 to 5,000.
Wow, that's
people.
an amazing list.
But it's one aspect that I worked in a church. So we know a lot of people. My husband is in law enforcement, so we have a lot of connections there. He now works in a school, so we have a lot of connections there. So we have quite many people that we connect with. And then you also have to realize that your social media, all of those people that are on your social media too, to continue. The whole reason why you're doing that is to connect with them. That they will, one post or another is going to make like, oh, I know, yes, that they'll think of you. They will think of you. I just got 2 leads from a family that I was their children's pastor literally 20 years ago. I have not heard from this couple who had these children in over 20-something years.
That's amazing.
And then they sent me their daughter to sell their house, and then their son to find a house.
Wow.
And I'm like, it's been 20 years.
Yeah.
But they watched me on Facebook.
I love it.
Or Instagram, or
wherever. Yeah. So Facebook and Instagram are those the 2 that you're on, or are you on others?
Yeah. This is another thing that some people will tell you need to do this. I think that you find a few, do that well, and then go on to the next. I think that's the most important thing. Don't try to do it all. And so I know that we have YouTube. That's not my main priority, but that's somebody else's priority, and they do beautifully on that. But for me, those are the 2 areas that I focus on. And then years ago, when COVID was happening, we started the video tours with me showing the house. Nobody was doing that. And it was so interesting because I was quite criticized by it, because people were saying, you really don't need to do that. These houses are selling like in minutes. And I'm like, I understand that, but I knew this market was going to change. I knew it was going to change, and I thought, let me build this platform now, knowing that in about 1.5 to 2 years, that people are going to need to do this in order to promote their home. And that's where that helped me tremendously.
Yeah, and there's this whole fallacy to you don't need that I don't think a lot of agents understand. It's a lack of professionalism. Because you're a professional in the way that you do business, you have built a brand.
Yes.
Okay, and so I don't care if the house is going to sell in 3 minutes. When someone today, in a very soft market compared to what it was then, wants to see how Vicky Piper markets her homes, they look back and they see what 100 different videos of you walking people through, and they're like, "Wow, she is professional.
Yes.
I want this on my home," right? And it's about building the brand. It's not a one-off video.
Right.
Does one video sell a home? Probably not, right? Most people are going to find their homes on Zillow or Realtor.com or Homes.com, or they're going to get the email from their agent through their whatever portal through the MLS is set up. That's where homes are really sold, but it's about the brand that attracts people to you. So, and you've done, again, check out her social media. She's done a great job with this. But the other thing all this leads to is raving reviews. You have a lot of big fans out there, and you have, I don't even know your number of reviews now, but you have a lot of reviews. How are you getting all these phenomenal? Yeah, I know you've worked hard on it, right?
Hard on that.
how are you getting your reviews?
I get my reviews because we won't close the deal until they give us a review. And so I think the biggest part is that when we meet them, we want to do everything with excellence and communicate and make them so happy with us throughout the entire transaction. That is the biggest thing. We're service-minded. We try to answer the question before they even know that they're going to ask that question. So we really work hard to deliver a great product. We don't have a tangible thing. Like, I'm not selling a bottle. I'm selling my knowledge, and I'm selling a service. So you have to be sharp, you have to communicate, and you have to be present. So when you do all of those things, I think it just changes the whole game. I think sometimes people, think about the different aspects of it, but what was the question again?
Reviews. How have you gotten all these reviews?
The reviews. So what we do, we tell our clients we are working hard for you to receive a 5-star review.
Okay.
We tell them literally what we want.
Yep.
A 5-star review. And is there anything, but right before we get up to the closing part, right? Right before we get to the closing part, is there anything you have any questions about? Are you good? Because we get them to the point of they are so happy that they're finally getting ready to close. Are you happy? Are you feeling good? Do you have any questions? Like, no, Vicky, this is amazing. And what I'm looking for is like them to not necessarily compliment, but to know that they are in a good place. Like they are happy, they're ecstatic. So then I take that energy that they have in that moment. We will not ask for it till that moment. The moment they have that, then we turn around and say, would you be willing to write a review for us when we simply make it super easy for them? Because there's companies out there. You don't need these companies that, I don't believe you do. If you can create a format, we send them a page, and it gives them the 4 places that we ask them to write the review. I said, just write it, copy and paste it to these other places. We would greatly appreciate it. And then they turn around and then they turn and give it to us.
So what are the places that you focus on for your reviews?
Great question. We Google is number one, because the amount of leads that we're getting now through Google, because we built this, has been phenomenal. So Google is one. Zillow, it is what it is.
It is.
You have to play the game. Zillow, Realtor, and Homes.com, and then we ask them to touch socials if they can. But if that's great if they do, but not necessarily.
So, of 100 transactions, how many reviews do you end up getting?
95.
That's amazing. That's pretty incredible.
It is. We work really, really hard. And some people, and we will say this, you have to incentivize them in some aspect. So we always give our clients, this is a true Piper secret here. We're going to disclose.
Here we go.
Here we go. We'll let you know how it works.
Get ready to write this down.
Write it down. You give your clients a choice. So choice number 1, thank you so much. We're so excited that you've been, we're getting to the closing table. I would like to give you a gift. This is gift number 1, this choice. But if you would be willing to write those reviews, then we have this gift for you.
Wow.
Because that's what we do. So you give choice number 1 or choice number 2.
Are we talking like the difference between a coffee gift card and a welcome basket?
Yes. It's pretty significant. But what I have found, and this is the craziest thing. So Friday, I have a closing on Friday. And she's like, Vicky, I want to do the reviews. I don't need that.
Wow.
The bigger gift.
That's amazing.
I will, take the Yeti coffee cup.
That's awesome.
And I'm like, there you go. She goes, we just are beyond grateful. And I'm like, I'm so grateful for you. So, so that's what that's what we do.
I love it.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to hit some rapid fire.
Yeah.
Well, maybe this will lead to more conversation, but there's a few questions I just like to ask guests as they're coming on the show. So I want to know who is the greatest influence, who's been the greatest influence on your life and career, the person that you would say, if it weren't for this person, I probably wouldn't be here today.
My dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. By far. Just because of the work ethic. I don't think it's very difficult to do this business if you don't have one. So, and I think that is one thing that he came to this country and really worked hard and showed us what you need to do to become a success.
Where'd he come from?
Colombia, South America.
Wow.
So he came here and then met my mom and then had my brother and I. And yeah, so he worked incredibly hard and overcome huge obstacles. And I think that was the one thing that, and along with, we couldn't complain.
Right.
Just like, just if I complained as a child, he's like, stop it.
Right.
I'm like, oh, okay. I never complained.
Right.
So I think that is, it doesn't get you anywhere. And I think that is the part for me. I am an eternal optimist. And I think that has forever changed my perspective. Complaining doesn't do anything. And honestly, those that do complain, I just tend to walk away.
Yep.
It does nothing for me.
That's good. Mm-hmm. That's good. Okay. Dad had the greatest impact on your life. So if you could go back and you could talk to Vicky Piper in year 1 of real estate, what would you say to her?
I would say maybe go to a class or two.
Yeah.
Maybe this is the catch. I went to classes within our company. Mm-hmm. I never went to classes. There's so many real estate seminars and rich conferences. I never went to one. And I think that would have probably helped me a lot if I went to one in my first 3 years.
Yep.
But I just stayed within my company where there was teach a class and I went to that, teach a class and I went to that. But I think I should have gone beyond that in the very beginning, because then you get a bigger vision.
Yeah.
So
I encourage all agents coming into the business,
yes,
be a sponge, right? You need to go and soak up as much information and learn as much as you can. And hopefully your company's providing some of that to you, but you do need to get out and learn from others. I mean, if people are learning only within our company and they're only hearing our voices, they might be missing some other great voices in the industry. So
100%.
So I would wholeheartedly agree with that. Be a sponge. But I also think don't be afraid to get out and start doing stuff too. You have to start working, which is what you did, right?
I did.
Yeah.
I went to the office every day for like 8 hours and just worked. I stood around people and talked to people and learned. I'm not afraid to ask questions.
Yep.
I am not afraid. And I think that sometimes don't ever walk around like wondering, no, get on the phone.
Yep.
Right.
I love it. Okay. Life lessons. What's a life lesson that you learned the hard way that you wish that somebody had told you in advance what to expect or how to do it, or, had told you sooner to avoid it?
In real estate?
Or in life. Life lesson. A life lesson.
Not everybody's going to like you. That was a really, yes. I'm part of a mastermind, and it was interesting with these agents across the United States. And one of them, you could tell, I just felt like, he doesn't care for me. And then it came out, he's like, we all can't be like Vicky, the bubbly realtor. And I'm like, the bubbly realtor?
That's Vicky. That is Vicky.
Because he was very, matter of fact. And I was just like, you're right. You can't be like me. You know what I mean? But it was funny because I was kind of like, well, why doesn't he like me? And at first it was just kind of, but then I thought, it's okay.
I just saw someone posted a book recently called Let Them.
I read it.
Did you read that? Was that you that posted that?
I did.
That you're the one. So I'm going to read that book.
It was phenomenal.
But sometimes you do have to just let people think what they're going to think.
I know.
Right?
Exactly.
Okay. Next question. On this show, we talk about, I say I want to help agents live their best lives and achieve ultimate success. And ultimate success, we said it earlier, but no one's going to get up at your funeral and talk about how much money you made, right?
Never.
So what does ultimate success look like for you? How would you define ultimate success?
Balance. balance, and that being with my family, being with my friends, and enjoying life at its fullest.
Yeah.
And, success is not, I always go back, it's not about the money.
Yep.
You can be a success and not have a lot of money, or you can, this is the one thing about real estate. This is the greatest industry to make money. It is the greatest industry to really have a schedule that you can control, that you will have to work hard, but you can take some time off. This is one of the greatest industries, I think, that for you to express yourself too.
Yep.
And I feel that if you really work hard, it will come. But it's not easy. It's not easy.
It's not.
It's not. And people think it's easy money, but we both know it is hard money. But it's worth it.
It is.
It is so worth it. And I love what I do, and it oozes out of me. And so I'm very passionate about it. Like you're so passionate about the industry and helping and building the best brokerage ever. So I love that. And I think that's what's contagious.
Yeah.
So people will, stop being so bubbly,
Don't stop.
No,
be you. Be you.
Exactly.
Do you have a daily routine?
I do.
Okay.
No matter what day it is, I get up at the exact same time. And I also try to go to bed at the exact same time. I exercise on certain days at certain times with accountability partners. And I have, obviously, I spend time in quiet time, sometimes praying, sometimes reading, sometimes just with worship and being still.
Yep.
I think that's important to be.
What would you say of your routine is the single most important thing you do daily?
I would say there's two things.
Okay.
Two things. Time in the Word is really important because it fills me up and it encourages me, and that's what's so important. The second thing is movement, exercise.
Okay.
I think that if I didn't have that releases so much stress. There'll be times where I'm a little bit stressed, and my husband's like, you need to go for a walk. You
Right.
need to go do something. And I'm like, I know, I need to, because I'm a better person when I have that out. So I feel really good.
Okay.
Yes.
Good.
I like it.
All right.
What's yours? Tell me your two things.
So I'm like with you. I think being in the Word is most important. And I didn't think about two things, but if I were going to say a second thing, especially considering you said people over 45, I am over 45, just turned 46.
Yes,
congratulations. And thank you. I'm trying to catch up to you.
Thank you.
That said, though, just with health and being much more conscious of health as I've been aging,
Yes.
I think movement is probably one of the more important things that I do in my morning routine. So I'm probably with you there.
Yeah.
I think that's good.
Yeah.
Although my wife doesn't tell me you need to get out and exercise, but I probably should encourage her to do that more. Just tell me.
Just tell me. Encourage you.
I need it. I have to. We just
feel
have
better.
to. We have to be more conscious, and I do feel better when I do it.
You do. It really helps you. And I think the biggest part is that you want to be the best real estate agent possible. And so when we want to do that, you have balance on all the things that matter. And that is health, that's nutrition, that's being spiritually minded, as well as just connected with the people that you love the most.
Yep.
And those things, if you have balance in that, life is pretty good.
Yep.
It is.
So, last official question I have, maybe this will lead to more, but if you weren't in real estate, what life passion would you be pursuing right now?
I think the likeliness of me returning to church is very great.
Okay.
I think that is the one thing that I think that's going to most likely happen. I was obviously in children's before. I don't necessarily want to return to that. I love administration. I love delegating. I love recruiting. It is a gift that I have, and I know that. So I would really love to put those gifts back into a church.
Okay.
So that would be really powerful. And then, yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, I like it.
Well, Vicky, this has been a fun conversation.
Thank you. As well.
Yeah,
It's been really good.
it has
Fun.
been a lot of fun. Any last words? If you were going to have any advice to those out there, there are probably people who are going to watch this or listen to this who are discouraged right now. The market's been soft. It's been difficult these last few months. They're struggling. There's new agents that might listen to this. What advice or what encouragement would you give to those that are listening to this today?
I would encourage anybody out there that you have to connect with people everywhere you go. This is the one thing that I did, and I encouraged Cameron, my son, to do the exact same thing the very first year. Everywhere you go, you leave a business card. Let everybody know, the person at Kroger, the gas station attendant, whoever it may be, Costco, just pass out cards, because those connections will lead to conversations, then will lead to beautiful, perhaps needs that they may have, and things that you can assist them with. And that is the part that I would say, go out every day. Join clubs, join committees, join everything you could possibly be a part of. And that, yes, that will, of course with balance, but be part of that. And then the second thing I would say would be to really, honestly, go to work.
Yep.
Go to work. Learn, talk, ask questions. Like, say, I have people that come up to me, and this is the catch. They say to me, like, I would love to go on a listing presentation. I'm like, okay. And then they leave me. I'm like, no, that's not how you do it. You know what I mean? They call me, can I come to your office on Monday? Can I come to your office on Tuesday at 3:00? You know what I mean?
Yep.
Or they wait for me to initiate. No, you got to initiate every aspect. If you want to pursue how to learn from somebody, you pursue them and follow them, and you just spend time with them.
Yep.
They will share all of their secrets if they're really good agents.
That is excellent advice for those, especially getting started. Vicky Piper, thank you so much for being on Real Life in Real Estate. This has been amazing. I think you are amazing.
Thank you.
And
you are too.
Well, thank you. You've been such a good friend to me. And
Likewise.
I look forward to many more years of friendship and getting to watch each other grow in the business, or watch each other retire. Maybe we get to retire and watch the next generation do all of this.
Yes, that's what it's all about.
But that is truly today. My hope is that everybody has been inspired. I always say I want to inspire you to live your best life and achieve ultimate success. Well, I think Vicky Piper is an incredibly inspiring person, and I hope that she has inspired you as much as I have been inspired today. So have an amazing week, and we'll see you next week.